Hey mama, if you're listening to this, you might be carrying a secret that feels too heavy to speak out loud. You look like you got it all together, you serve at church, maybe you even lead a Bible study. You smile when you drop off the kids, but no one sees the other side of you, the one that comes out behind closed doors. At home, you are a completely different person. You yell, you explode, you scream at your kids, sometimes in their face. You tell them to shut up. You grab them too harshly. You throw things across the room. You smack them in anger, twist their ears, spank them in rage, and immediately after, you are hit with a tidal wave of shame. You cry alone in your room and you whisper, "God, what is wrong with me?" You feel scared and disgusted by your own reactions. You're terrified that someone might find out. You wonder if your kids would be better off without you. You feel unworthy, broken, and too far gone to be redeemed. You try to fix this on your own. You listen to podcasts, parenting books, download freebies, but nothing changes. You keep falling back into the same patterns, and it feels like you are stuck in a cycle that you can't break. You don't trust yourself anymore, and if you're honest, you are afraid of who you've become. But here's the truth, Mama. You are not beyond hope. You're not alone, and with God's help and the right support, you can change. I'm Elizabeth, a mom of 4 and an anger management coach for Christian moms. And inside my Calm Christian Mom coaching program, I guide women just like you through a powerful transformation. This isn't shallow behavior management. We go deep. We address your triggers, your stress, your mindset, your nervous system, and the spiritual root behind your patterns. We invite God into every layer and walk hand in hand towards healing. In just 12 weeks, you can become a completely different mom, unrecognizable. One who leads with patience, not panic. One whose children feel emotionally safe around her. One who cultivates peace. This summer, I'm offering a Calm Mama strategy session, a powerful 15-minute one-on-one coaching session designed to help you uncover the root of your anger and receive spiritual, emotional, and practical support. It's your chance to experience what coaching is like with me before diving deeper into ongoing support. If we both feel like the full program is the next right step, we can talk about what that looks like for you. You don't have to keep living like this. Your family is worth healing, and so are you. Use the link in the show notes to book the Calm Mama strategy session.
Hey, my name is Taylor, and I just finished Elizabeth's coaching program, the Calm Christian Mom, and I cannot recommend it enough. I am a stay-at-home mom with 2 littles. Haven is 2.5, and Clancy is 4.5. And I stay at home with them, and we also have a couple at-home businesses that my husband and I run. I listened to one of Elizabeth's podcasts months ago that was recommended to me from a friend. And it was in that podcast that I realized the way I was parenting my children was not what God wanted. And it was not the mom I wanted to be. And her words in her podcast really convicted me to find change, to do something about it. And so I booked a call with her for that next morning. And in that call, I was full of shame. I was embarrassed to talk about the way I was parenting my kids. I was embarrassed. I was yelling too much. I was full of guilt and shame and felt like I was a terrible mom. Didn't trust myself with my kids. I didn't trust myself at all, period. And so that call with her, I was very emotional and I was very vulnerable. And she just loved me where I was at. And I could tell she was genuine in her responses. And she just listened to me. And she made me feel like I was not alone and that there was hope. And so I joined her coaching program the next day. And honestly, within 3 days, I noticed change. With her keeping me accountable and checking in with me and asking how things are going and like wanting to know my real answers and like how I'm really doing. And then she was able to encourage me, to challenge me, to remind me of who I am in God's eyes. And within a couple of days, I was already seeing improvements in how I was talking to myself and how I was talking to my kids. And so I cannot encourage her program enough. I am a more confident mom. I am a calmer and patient mom. I am tremendously more patient and calm than I was when I started this program. I see my kids in a different light. I see myself in a different light. I am choosing to be present with my kids instead of not wanting to hang out with them or be with them. I am now excited to spend time with them. And so the mom I am now is completely different than the mom I was 3 months ago. And I have Elizabeth to thank for that. So if you are on the fence about joining her program, I cannot recommend it enough. I want you to know that there is help out there for you and there is hope for you. You don't have to stay where you're at. I thought I did. I thought this is just how it was to be a mom with littles, running your own businesses, and I was overwhelmed and overstimulated, and I didn't know how to love my kids in that season and with all those things going on. And Elizabeth helped me realize I'm not alone, and there is hope, and there is a way for me to become the mom that I've always wanted to be and that God wants me to be. So if you're on the fence, please join her in her program, do the free call, talk to her. I think you will be very, very thankful that you did, just like I am. And I cannot recommend her program enough.
In this podcast episode, we will be talking about ways to regulate your nervous system and release intense emotions when you feel triggered and very overwhelmed and upset. So if you experience feeling annoyed, feeling frustrated, and it's building up, and now you start to feel angry, and you're recognizing if you continue to stay in this exact same situation, an exact same state, you will eventually explode. You know you need to calm down, but you just don't know how. So most of us were never taught as kids how to calm down. We were just told to do so. Maybe you relate to this when you were a kid. You're feeling very upset. Maybe you're raising your voice. You're starting to feel really reactive, and your parents just send you to your room and say, go calm down. Well, I mean, there is some truth to that. I do that with my kids too, in a sense, teaching them that they need to remove themselves when they are acting out in ways that are destructive and hurtful. And we also need to teach how to calm down. And it starts with you learning these tools, so then you can carry that forward to your children as well. So in this episode, I will teach you some tools to calm your mind and body when you're feeling triggered and you need to calm yourself so you do not release that anger and frustration on your family in hurtful and destructive ways. Before I get you into this episode and share with you all the details, I want to tell you that I have a wonderful training for you. I have a training that I put together for you on how to overcome and break free from shame that you experience after you exploded in rage on your family. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you are struggling with anger and maybe even rage towards your family. And you know exactly how it feels at the end of the day, how much remorse you have and guilt and shame that you have after screaming at your kids. If you feel so much remorse and you wish you could change and you're just feeling stuck in those feelings, you don't know how to process it, you don't know how to release it, you have a lot of negative self-talk and you say a lot of things to yourself like, I'm not meant to do this, I'm the worst mom ever, my kids are better off without me, why am I like this, what's wrong with me? If you want help figuring out how to stop that cycle and break free from that shame, then I want to encourage you to go to endmomshame.com and sign up to get that free training. Or you can scroll down in the show notes. There's a next step section. And step 1 is to sign up for the free training. And that's going to give you the tools that you need to break free from that shame spiral. All right. So first of all, when we think of motherhood and we are feeling triggered and reactive and angry, the goal that I have in my coaching program when I work with moms is to get you feeling less triggered to begin with. So what can we do proactively to help you feel less triggered with your children and with circumstances? So practically speaking, we do things that will lower your stress, and we focus on things that are fully in your control that you can do something about. Think of your day and your structure of the day, things that trigger you and tend to get you to react. So what can you do that is in your control? Maybe it's mindset, and maybe it's something really practical to lower your stress levels. And also there's a lot of habits that can help you lower your stress levels. So then you have more capacity throughout the day when things do not go your way. That's a big step in the first stage in the coaching program, understanding why you feel angry to begin with, and then working on reducing controllable stressors. We work a lot on taking your thoughts captive and transforming them to empowering thoughts that lead to positive feelings and lead to positive actions, because you cannot have negative thoughts and then positive feelings and positive actions. It doesn't work that way. We need to rewire your thoughts to having positive, empowering thoughts that will, even if it's a hard circumstance that you don't like, to empowering and positive feelings, and that will lead to better actions. That's the practical aspect that we work on. And that's like mindset is humongous aspect. If you notice yourself constantly feeling negative, it directly affects how you feel emotionally, how you show up as a mom. And all of those things that we work on proactively will lower your mental stress in your mind. And when your stress is lower, you can handle more things coming your way. And you're still going to have moments when you feel angry and frustrated when things are not going your way. You will get some stressful news. Maybe one of your parents is sick. Maybe your husband job is on the line. Maybe like your kids are doing something that's really upsetting you and they're fighting or whatever it might be. And that is okay. That is a normal human emotion, feeling upset, feeling frustrated, and even feeling angry. And God actually created you with that emotion. The thing with anger is the Bible says, be angry and do not sin. It doesn't say never feel angry, because God knows that you will have that emotion. God has that emotion. There's a lot of righteous men in the Bible that felt angry. Like Moses, when he came down the mountain and Israelites built a golden calf and he had the 10 commandments on a stone, he felt wrath. He felt rage. He literally took those commandments that God written on the stone and he smashed them because he felt so angry. And that was righteous anger because the people were disobeying God. There's Bible characters that felt righteous anger. And a lot of Bible characters felt angry in their life stories. And it's because it's a normal human emotion. You cannot get away with it. The Bible tells us be angry and do not sin. So we need to learn how to not sin in anger. And that's what I teach you in my coaching program, how to make good choices when you feel angry, how to calm your mind and regulate yourself so then you don't act on anger. And then another verse in the Bible says, anger does not produce the righteousness of God, which means is when we feel angry, we will not make good choices. We will make poor choices. And for the most part, right, we need to teach our mind how to make different choices. And in my program, I help you get to a point where you feel angry and you feel upset, and you're able to communicate it and do what you need to do to calm yourself without doing anything destructive with your words or actions. When we feel angry, it is helpful to figure out why by being curious and literally asking yourself, I wonder why I feel this way. I wonder why this is upsetting me so much. I wonder what's going on that I feel really triggered right now. Because sometimes you have a reason, you understand, you're like, yeah, my kids are not listening, I feel overstimulated, we're running late. But sometimes you're just feeling really agitated and annoyed and you really don't know why. But there's always reason underneath that. You're not feeling angry for no reason. And actually, a lot of moms that come to my coaching program, yes, they feel triggered easily by their kids, but they struggle with going from 0 to 100 in a split second and not even knowing why they're feeling that way and what got them there. And that's what we work on in the program. So the next step is to have tools to calm yourself in the moment. So be curious. I wonder why I'm feeling this way. I feel really annoyed and frustrated right now with my kids. I wonder why. Why is this bothering me so much? And sometimes it's a practical thing. Sometimes it's a mindset thing. Sometimes it's a spiritual thing, right? Sometimes it's like, what do I need right now to help myself feel better? Do I need a snack? Do I need to drink some water? Do I need to go use the restroom and just be away from my kids for a moment? Do I need to step outside? Do I need to turn off the extra noise, the TV and the music that is playing? Do I need to send my kids to the basement or send them outside to play? What do I need right now? Do I need to ask my husband to step in and take over with the kids because everything just is too much and I just need a moment to myself? What do I need to help myself feel better? But there's always something underneath your anger. So we need to have tools to calm your mind and body when you're feeling upset, when you're feeling dysregulated. So let's talk about emotional dysregulation and triggers. An emotional trigger is anything including memories, experiences, or events that sparks an intense emotional reaction regardless of your current mood. So that is what Google says, okay? A trigger is anything that sparks an intense emotional reaction out of you. Maybe you were in a pretty good mood and then all of a sudden you feel triggered. Maybe it's because of a past event that came to your mind, which we work on in my coaching program. We don't do therapy type of thing, but we do go a little bit in your past and spend a little bit of time there. It's what are events that are unprocessed that are contributing to you feeling negative and reactive? And I give you some tools how to process those events so then they're not affecting your motherhood on a daily basis. So is there a memory that came up in your mind that caused you to feel really triggered? Is there, is the house messy that has contributed to you feeling triggered? Okay, so we need to recognize what is going on and why do I feel triggered by being curious and not judging yourself and saying, what's wrong with me? I wonder what is going on with me. So feeling dysregulated is when you are recognizing that you're going to lose your cool if you continue in that state. And that means you need to do something about it. And again, it comes back to that question, what do I need to help myself feel better? Before we go further, I want to take a minute to remind you that if you are really struggling and you feel easily angered, maybe it's not just with anger, but you're also yelling and you're being a completely different person at home than you are in public. You are acting in rough ways and unkind ways to your children. If you notice that you are spanking too hard in anger, if you find yourself going from 0 to 100 in a split second, and having massive reactions for the smallest things. And if it's affecting your relationship with your kids and your spouse, where you feel like they need to be walking on eggshells around you. Maybe your kids even say to you, Mom, you're always so mean. You're always in a bad mood. Mom, why are you angry all the time? Maybe your spouse says that and they say, I wish you were the same person that I married 15 years ago. What happened to you? Why are you always like this? Maybe you're trying to stay calm, but you are human and you get pushed to your breaking point every single day and you find yourself yelling, reacting in ways that you're not proud of. And then when your head hits the pillow at the end of the night, you feel like a failure and you're wondering, am I even meant to do this? Am I meant to be a mom? What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be like other moms who are kind and gentle? Will my kids be okay? If you relate to what I just described, and if that is your reality, my friend, that is not sustainable. You are in the right place because these struggles are exactly what I help Christian moms solve in 12 weeks in my Calm Christian Mom coaching program. So if you're wondering if this program may help you turn these struggles around and transform your family dynamic into something that feels good and something that you actually enjoy, I want to strongly encourage you to go to the link in the show notes and book your free consultation call. This is a completely free call where you and I get on Zoom for 45 minutes and you tell me everything that you're struggling with. And I will let you know if my program is the next best step for you. And if it's not, I will point you in the right direction. Either way, you will leave this call knowing your next steps to ending reactive anger patterns and destructive behaviors. If this program is the next step for you, you will learn how to lower your stress so you feel less angry and triggered to begin with, have more emotional capacity and patience, and tools on how to respond well in moments how to respond well in hard moments. You could literally change your life in 2025 and feel completely different about yourself and the way that you show up for your family. My friend, you can leave all those anger struggles. I know this might sound really crazy based on how you're feeling right now. And I wouldn't sound so confident in saying this if I didn't see this happen over and over again with my clients. And you are going to hear from some of them in the next few weeks. You have nothing to lose. My program is 100% money back guarantee. You either reach the goals that you set for yourself in the beginning of the program or get a full refund at week 12. Want to learn more? Go to the show notes and book your free consultation call. I promise you, motherhood does not have to be this hard. Okay, let's talk about some practical things that you can do to regulate your emotions. So one of the favorite things that I do is obviously pray. I do that as a Christian, as a believer. I pray and I ask God, please help me. I'm feeling really upset right now. I feel really frustrated. Please help me calm down in this moment. And there's still also a lot of practical things that you can do in the moment to release your emotions because emotions move through motion. All right. So if you are somebody that feels like you need a physical release when you feel really upset and angry, you can go to your room, grab a pillow, and do some pillow slams on your bed. Just grab a pillow and just slam it on your bed. Pick it up and slam it on your bed. Okay, you can do counter or wall push-ups. I do that. I've had moments when I felt really triggered and extremely upset with my kids. And I just and I just started doing push-ups on the counter in the kitchen. Instead of yelling and screaming at my kids, I just started doing push-ups like as fast as I could. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Or you could like push a wall. But for me, I just needed to move. I just doing a bunch of counter push-ups. Another way that you can release some of that physical tension in your body and stress and feeling upset is blasting music and singing and dancing. It all depends on how upset you're feeling and what emotions you have underneath that. So I'm giving you some different options and you can take notes on this and, see what works for you and try them out. You can even write them out and have them on the fridge and have something to go to when you're feeling really upset. You can hold some ice cubes in your hands and breathe. This is when you're just feeling really anxious and where you're just feeling overwhelmed. Taking some ice cubes in your hands and you can hold it over the sink and just take some deep breaths. You can, number 5 is to shake it out. So just take your hands and your shoulders and you just literally shake it out as much as you can. This is something that you can do when you can't walk away. Let's say you're around your kids, you physically cannot leave them alone. This is something you can do right there next to them. Another one that you can do right there next to the kids is inhale, like intensely, and then exhale. So like intense inhale, intense exhale to release. Okay. And you can even like squeeze your hands up as you're inhaling, you're palms of your hands, and then when you exhale, letting go of your hands. When you just cannot leave, when you're feeling so angry, you want to just scream at your kids and your family. I've done this in the car with my kids. Like I can't leave, like I'm in the car and I'm feeling so frustrated. And I just inhale and then exhale and then squeeze my palms. Another one that I do sometimes in the car with the kids, which goes along, again, you can do this with your kids when you cannot walk away, is just a vocal release. And you'd be like, oh, ah. You're not hurting anybody with your words or with your actions. You're doing a physical release of that frustration and an intense energy in a way that is going to help you get it out of your body without doing any sort of damage. All right? And it's okay for your kids to see that. It is a normal human emotion. It is okay for them to see that. Maybe they even contributed to you feeling upset, and it's okay for them to see that. You're not hurting them with your words or actions. You're not screaming in their face. You're not twisting their ear. You're not slapping them on the back of the head. You're not grabbing them intensely, right? Like you're not hurting them when you do this. Another one is if you are at home, you can just give a massive, like a really big snuggle to a pillow or a big stuffed animal. Sometimes when I feel like sad or really just having such a hard day and feeling really overwhelmed, if my husband is home, I would say, hey, babe, can I have a hug? I'm just having a really hard time. Can you please cuddle with me and hug me? That is another thing that really helps me calm down. It doesn't help so much when I'm feeling angry. It helps me more when I'm just feeling really overwhelmed or just down, just feeling sad and down. Another one that I have not personally tried, though I've heard that it can really work, is dunking your face in ice water. This is not something that typically comes to mind for me, but that's another one that I have found online that people do, is grabbing a bowl of cold water, putting some ice cubes in there, and just dunking your face in cold water to just kind of calm that nervous system down from being extremely escalated. Another one that I do when I feel really overwhelmed is to lay down on the floor with my feet up the wall. So scoop my butt as close as I can to the wall and then put my feet up the wall. Close my eyes, take some deep breaths, and visualize myself being in a calm, peaceful place. For me, it is out on the beach. It could be in the forest. It could be in the garden. It could be in the meadow, like in the mountains. Where is it for you? I love nature and just being outside on the beach where I feel the breeze and I'm laying on a hammock and like Bora Bora. And like that is with some sunshine on my face, like that is my peaceful, calm place. And I go there in my mind and I literally just take some deep breaths and imagine myself being there for like 5 minutes. And that really calms my nervous system when I'm just feeling everything feels like too much and I'm feeling stressed out that day. So I gave you some tools that you can implement when you're just feeling upset, when you're stressed out, and when you're feeling angry. Like there's different ones that you can pull from the list that I have shared with you. Different strategies work for different people and for different emotions. If you tend to want the physical release, then pillow slams or push-ups or shaking it out or the vocal release or the big snuggle is what you will benefit from. If you need more things like calming your nerves because you're feeling very emotional, just feeling overwhelmed and upset, laying down on the floor with your feet up the wall or holding the ice cubes or dunking your face in water is something that will be helpful for you to calm and regulate your nervous system. The goal is to do something. Emotions move through motion. You need to do something to change the atmosphere instead of staying stuck in the same exact thing that you're doing, okay? One of my favorite things that I did not have on the list, but I've mentioned in other episodes, when I feel really upset and feel triggered and just feeling really tense, if possible, go for a walk. My oldest is 13 years old. I can leave him at home with the other kiddos, especially if it's quiet time. The toddler is in her crib and the other kiddos are in quiet time. I can go for a walk in my neighborhood for 10 minutes to one end and to come back. And they have access to me. I have my phone. Like it's a safe thing that I can do. Some people just, if they have a super long walkway, I've had some moms do that. They will just go down the driveway, not the walkway. And they will just bundle up. But even if it's in the winter, getting some fresh air is so good for you. If possible, if you don't have little tiny ones that obviously, like if you have a 1-year-old that gets into everything and they're on the loose, like not safe. And that's why there's other tools that I'm giving you. The goal is to calm your mind and body to a state where you feel calm and regulated. Because when you're feeling dysregulated, you literally cannot think clearly. Your thinking brain is offline and you will react in ways that you are not proud of. So it is important to have these tools to calm your brain down so you can go back to your thinking part of the brain, and that is going to help you make better choices in the moment. When you're feeling really frustrated, escalated, angry, and rage, your thinking brain is not working. And that is why you're tending to make poor choices in that moment. And sinful choices, destructive choices. And that's why I'm teaching you these tools. All right, friend. Just to recap, when we are feeling escalated, and we're feeling upset, when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling dysregulated, we need to do something to move emotions through our body. We can either do something that's calming to our nervous system or something that releases that frustration and anger by some of the like physical release. And if we continue to stay in that state, we're going to get more escalated and more frustrated and angry. So we need to do something about it to move that emotion through our body. Anger on itself is not wrong or sinful. It's what we do in anger that oftentimes is sinful and destructive. So if anger is destroying your relationships with your loved ones and you are so sick and tired of feeling reactive and angry and overwhelmed constantly, I want to encourage you, my friend, to book a free consultation call and let's make positive changes in your life. Be the generational anger breaker in your family. Set that positive tone in your home. Be that mom that you want to be for your kids. And you know what? Sometimes we can get there with just free resources, and that's awesome and great. And sometimes we cannot. Sometimes we need that hand holding and that extra support. If you've tried doing things on your own and it's not working, then it's time to invest in support. My program has payment plans. Most people can get 6 months interest free. You can even get 12-month payment plans. There are options for you, my friend. I would love to support you and be there on this journey with you and pray over you and encourage you along the way. If you want my help, the next step is to book a free consultation call. Scroll down in the show notes. There is a link for you to click on and book that call with me. My friend, I cannot wait to connect with you and support you on this journey. Stick around because in next episode, we will talk about how to pause and speak less when you feel angry. Because when we feel angry, we often say things that we wish we didn't. So how can we pause, slow down, and say less when we feel angry? We will talk about that in the next episode. Hey mama, do you find yourself snapping over the smallest things, like spilled milk or constant whining, then feeling horrible afterwards? If you're tired of losing your temper and you want to show up with more patience, I have something for you. It's a free training called How to Be More Patient with Your Kids so you're not screaming over spilled milk. Inside, I'll walk you through 10 simple things you can start doing today to become a calmer, more Christ-like mom, even on the hard days. To get it for free, just leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and send a screenshot to hello@emotionallyhealthylegacy.com. Or if you'd rather skip the wait, you can grab it right now for just $27. The link is in the show notes. Let's help you become the peaceful, patient mom your kids need.